In Fear Peddlers, we discuss the use of fear in media, marketing, and politics, exploring the methods used by which fear-based messaging is employed to influence behavior and attitudes. From sensationalized news coverage to fear-inducing advertising campaigns and fear-mongering political rhetoric, fear is utilized to capture attention, evoke emotional responses, and shape perceptions. Case studies and examples of fear-based messaging provide insights into the techniques and strategies employed by fear peddlers to manipulate public opinion and behavior. Whether through the amplification of threats, the manipulation of statistics, or the cultivation of moral panics, fear-based tactics are designed to instill anxiety and insecurities in the audience, pushing them to take desired actions or to adopt certain beliefs. Ethical considerations regarding fear-based manipulation, as the deliberate exploitation of fear, raise questions about the moral and ethical responsibility of media marketers and political actors. The proliferation of fear-based messaging contributes to misinformation, polarization, and social divisions, undermining trust in institutions and fostering a climate of fear, uncertainty, and distrust. The societal implications of fear-based manipulation extend beyond immediate behavior, impacting public discourse, democratic processes, and individual well-being. By fostering a culture of fear and paranoia, fear peddlers may hinder rational decision-making and perpetuate social inequalities. Through critical analysis and reflection, this module invites participants to consider the broader implications of fear-based manipulation in the media, marketing, and politics. By examining the ethical dimensions of fear peddling and exploring alternative approaches to communication and persuasion, we can not only protect ourselves from its undue influence, but also cultivate a more informed and resilient society capable of resisting the insidious influence of fear-based manipulation. The 1995 movie Canadian Bacon is a satirical comedy directed by Michael Moore. In the film, Alan Alda plays a U.S. president who is facing low approval ratings, and he and his advisors decide to manufacture a fake war with Canada to boost patriotism and secure his re-election. They exploit stereotypes and fuel fear of Canada as an enemy in order to unite Americans behind a common cause. As tensions rise, propaganda is spread through the media, exaggerating Canada's military capabilities and portraying it as a threat to national security. The public is bombarded with messages about the need to defend American values and interests against the perceived Canadian menace. Meanwhile, a group of American citizens, including a sheriff, played by John Candy, a hardware store owner, and a Niagara Falls tour guide, find themselves all caught up in this hysteria. They embark on a misguided mission to invade Canada, believing they are acting in the best interest of their country. The film satirizes the manipulation of public opinion by political leaders and the media. It highlights how easily fear and nationalism can be exploited for political gain, leading ordinary people to take drastic and irrational actions in the name of patriotism. And perhaps one of the greatest throwaway lines in the movie, when looking for a country to start a war with, Alda suggests declaring war on international terrorism, to which his advisors tell him that this is absurd. This is 6 years before the actual war on terrorism began. Now, to be fair, Canadian Bacon is not highly rated and has a Rotten Tomatoes score of only 12%. It is an absurd, over-the-top, slapstick look at how politics and media can manipulate our personal beliefs and ideas, convincing us of what is true, even to the point of us taking action. Along these lines, astrophysicist and science communicator Neil deGrasse Tyson discusses the concept of truth in his book Story Messenger, Cosmic Perspectives on Civilization, and in interviews about his new book. Tyson distinguishes between what he calls three types of truth: personal truth, political truth, and objective truth. Tyson refers to personal truth as beliefs or perspectives that individuals hold based on their own personal experiences, their emotions, and subjective interpretations of reality. These truths can vary from person to person, influenced by factors like their upbringing, their culture, and personal biases. Personal truths are not grounded in empirical evidence or objective reality, but are rather shaped by individual perceptions and individual experiences. Now, political truths is the version of reality that individuals or groups may promote to advance their agendas or interests. It often involves the manipulation or the distortion of facts to serve a particular narrative or ideology. Political truths can be misleading, or at least deceptive, as they prioritize political objectives over factual accuracy. In many cases, political truths may contradict objective reality or even scientific evidence in order to maintain power, influence public opinion, or to achieve specific policy goals. Finally, according to Tyson, objective truth refers to factual information or knowledge that is independent of personal beliefs or opinions or perspectives, and is not whether you believe in it or even if you accept it or not. It is based on empirical evidence, scientific inquiry, and rational analysis, aiming to describe reality as accurately and objectively as possible. Objective truths are verifiable and consistent across different observers or contexts. They're rooted in principles of logic, reason, and evidence. While individuals may have subjective interpretations of objective truths, the facts themselves remain constant and unaffected by personal biases or cultural influences. Tyson's distinctions between personal truth, political truth, and objective truth highlight the complexity of truth in our modern world and the importance of critical thinking, skepticism, and empirical evidence in discerning factual information from subjective beliefs or political agendas. This can be difficult for us to do because we often hold to our personal and political truths so tightly that we cannot discern them from objective truths. This is likely due to the fact that we all have biases or preferences. I like this more than that. I prefer that over this. Personal and political truths become an issue when we feel so strongly that others should adopt our preferences over their own that we feel compelled to convince others to accept our truth. If we're not able to persuade them to our point of view, all too often we will resort to violence or brute force to make them see it our way. The Reptilian Brain on a Plane module takes us on a journey through time and psyche, exploring the enduring influence of ancient fear systems in contemporary society. Through a series of thought experiments, we are invited to explore the adaptive and maladaptive aspects of modern fears. This module serves as a series of thought experiments, each designed to provoke contemplation and inquiry into the complex interplay between our ancient fear systems and the modern world. We are encouraged to engage in imaginative exercises, from envisioning a day in the life, 8000 BC, to conducting time period comparisons spanning centuries of human history. In A Day in the Life, 8000 BC, we're transported back to an ancient era, immersing ourselves in the daily challenges and survival needs of prehistoric humans during the Mesolithic era. Through a pest analysis, we explore the political, economic, social, and technological landscape of that time, gaining insights into the adaptive nature of ancient fear. Time period comparisons offers us a glimpse into the culture and technological evolution of humanity, jumping in 100-year increments from 1724 through 2024. Through a brief SWOT analysis, we assess the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of each era, shedding light on the shifting dynamics of fear and resilience in different historical contexts. In the final thought experiment, culture shock, we are asked to personify fear and witness as it attempts to assimilate in the modern technological and industrialized world. By examining how fear, ancient fear, manifests in contemporary modern society, we gain a deeper understanding of the adaptive and maladaptive aspects of modern fears. We are challenged to consider how our acute stress response system may overreact to perceived threats in the workplace, in the home, or in our communities. By recognizing the nuanced forms of fear, from fight or flight to freeze, we can contemplate how our fears may be influencing our actions in unintended ways and develop strategies to manage those responses better. By exploring ancient fears in the modern world, we are encouraged to confront our fears, challenge our perceptions, and cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and our society. Strangelove looks into the intriguing development and rise of the self-help industry and fear management, exploring the role of self-help resources in addressing fears and anxieties, and discussing their effectiveness and limitations. This module begins by highlighting the imprecise and often negative connotations associated with words related to fear, specifically in the English language, drawing a distinction between warranted and unwarranted fears. We are introduced into the analogy of two fear advisors, Reasonable Rick and Anxious Andy. The rise of the self-help industry related to fear is then explored more fully, tracing its modern origins to publications of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous in 1939 and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie in 1948. The humanistic psychology movement, spearheaded by figures like Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers in the 1940s, emphasized self-actualization and personal growth, and also helped lay the groundwork for contemporary approaches to self-help. Broadly speaking, the self-help industry encompasses three fundamental approaches: confronting and overcoming fear, embracing and learning from fear, and overall self-development and well-being. We discuss the various strategies and interventions offered by these resources, evaluating their applicability and effectiveness in managing fears and anxieties. In this module, we also examine the impact of cultural and society on how individuals perceive and manage fear. Cultural norms, societal expectations, and media portrayals shape attitudes towards and about fear, influenced by the adoption of self-help approaches and the willingness to seek support. By critically examining the role of the self-help industry in fear management, we gain insights into the diverse and often confusing array of resources that are being offered for addressing fears and anxieties.